Welcome to this walkthrough demonstration of the new PET platform. You can access the PET by logging into the RCDSO portal, which I've already done. And that will take you, once you've logged in with your usual and standard credentials, to this page. Click on My Account, scroll down to where it says ePortfolio and PET. Click on that, and then scroll down to where it says Current PET. Over on the right, you'll see a drop-down arrow, which will give you two options. The first one to click on says View Details. So let's click on that. After you click on View Details, you'll see your name, the type of assessment, and the first possible start date, which in this case we've set up for March 3rd. The last possible start date, in this case, is May the 30th. There will be a 3-month window from the first possible start date to the last possible start date. And you are permitted to select any day between those two dates for you to begin the PET. Once you've selected a start date, you will have 30 days to complete the PET from the start date that you've selected. Keep in mind that if you want to start earlier than the first possible start date, the Take PET function is not going to be enabled, and you'll only be able to see view details. So pay attention to these dates, because this window is your time, and you must start on a date that you select, but you cannot start earlier. As you scroll down in View Details, you will see the 6 competency areas that have been randomly selected for your particular PET. So let's go back to where we just were, and under Current PET, we can now click on Take PET. Give the moment for the screen to come up, and here's what you'll see. The start dates and the last possible start dates are there. This is your window. This is indicating that it is available now to be taken. And when you're ready to start, you click on the Start button. The next screen you'll see looks like this. Please read the instructions and make sure that everything is understood. You will have an opportunity to read the instructions at any time during the PET when you're answering questions, but take a moment to read the instructions now, just to give you a sort of a general sense of the navigation. Once you've finished reading the instruction, there is a box on the bottom that says, I attest. It's an attestation box. Click that, and then you can click Start to actually begin the assessment. The PET assessment begins. It's a multiple choice quiz. There is one correct answer for each question. And I will walk you through the process of answering questions, flagging them, going back to specific questions, entering questions in the answer grid, and all the steps that you may have to encounter. So as an example, here's a question. Once you've reviewed the question and selected your answer, scroll over to the right and click one of these circles. You'll notice when you do that, question number 1 is answered by filling in the box on the answer grid. This particular question has some references. I will show you how these references work in another question. I just want to go through the navigation first. If at any time you want to review the instructions on a question, just click the icon up here in the upper right, and it'll take you back to the instructions that you saw at the beginning. And if, as we go through, you're not sure about a question or about an answer, you want to maybe check on it later, then on the upper right, there's a little flag icon. Click that, it comes up in red, and you will see over on the answer grid that you have one question that's been flagged. When you're ready to move on, go to the next question. Same process for each one of the questions. Select an answer. Answer shows up on the answer grid. You may choose to flag it or not. You can go to the next question. Let's just go through a few. Okay, we'll answer one more question, and it will give you a sense of how the navigation works. If you want to go back to a previous question, you can click previous question up here. On the upper right, you'll notice that there is a clock, and this shows you the total amount of time remaining until the 30-day limit is reached. So it gives you some idea of how much time you have to complete the PET. As you continue answering questions, a progress bar will start to fill in from left to right, as you see that happening over here. And I'm going to just go back to the question number 1, because that was one that had references. Some of the questions, not all, but some will have references. If you want to get more information from the references, you click on the icon on the left, and that will give you journal articles or textbooks on which the questions are based. If you wish more information, you can copy these and look up the actual article or the source article if you want. Other questions that have PDF documents attached to them, if you click on PDF, the actual source article will appear for you to read and review. As you go through, you'll notice that the answer grid continues to list the questions that are answered and the ones that are not answered. If you've flagged a few questions, there will be a list of questions on your flagged list. So let's just go over to another question. It's not required that you take all the questions in order. You can skip and jump around. I'll go over to question 11, for example. Here's question 11. Here's another one with a reference. Same thing, if you want to get the source material, click on the icon here. And here is a reference. In this case, there's a link to the actual source information. If you click on that, it'll take you directly to the actual linked document if you want to review it. Again, that's something that happens with some of the questions, but not necessarily all of them. So just be aware of these reference types, and they will be available as you go through. This is a question we may want to flag, so let's just flag that. You can go back up to your clock. Let's jump to another question, 26. Here we are. Same thing. You can enter the answer. You'll see it illuminated on the answer grid. And as you make your way through, the answer squares will be filled up, and you'll see all the numbered questions as you go through right to the very end. Now, at any point in time, if you wish to take a break, click exit up near the clock. You'll have this screen ask you if you want to save, or it tells you that you're going to be saved. You're not going to lose anything. You can come back in and out anytime during the 30-day period. And you can sign out, and we can go back in. So let's just show you how to do that. Here we are back where we started. Scroll back down to where it says current PET. Click on the drop-down menu and take the PET. Once we're finished, it'll return you where we started. You notice here it says paused. Click on continue, and we're back to where we left off. Okay. Now, as you go through, you can do that as many times as you wish, jumping around from question to question. At a certain point, you may want to stop and say, okay, let's take a break. And as I say, it's easy to go back and forth without any restrictions. Now, I want to show you what happens when you reached question 198, which is the last question. After you reach this question here and you enter your answer, you will see up in the area near the clock a link to say finish test. Now, we don't have time to answer all 198 questions today, but when you have answered them all, you can click finish test. When you do that, you will get a message depending on the status of your particular pet. So let me click it, and it will tell you, just as it's telling me, that I've left 192 questions unanswered. And at that point, you can close this and go back and continue your answers. It will also, at any time, show you the flagged list. If you want to check with questions are flagged, you can see them here. These questions have been answered, but they're flagged, meaning that you want to go back and look at them. If you go on back to question number 26, just click on it. Here it is. If you're happy with it, you can remove the flag either by clicking on the flag, and that will eliminate it from the list. Let's go back to where it says all questions, and it'll take us back to our answer grid. Okay, so at any time, as I mentioned, take a look at the instructions. Make sure before you reach the final question, you can see where 198 is. It does give you the option to finish the test. It will tell you if you have unanswered questions. All questions must be answered before you can submit the test. So it will give you a reminder that you have to go back and check whatever questions have not been answered. All 198 questions must have an answer. Then you can click on Finish Test, and it'll take you to the next screen. Now, we can't do that here, so I'm going to exit and go back to the beginning and show you what will happen when you do click Finish Test and you have answered all the questions. So let's just exit and sign out. And in this case, once you have answered all the questions and you've clicked Finish, you will see that you will have a previous pet as opposed to a current pet, because the previous pet is the one you've just completed. Click the drop-down menu and go to View Certificate. You can access it and download it here by simply clicking the link. The link should come up here under Downloads. You click on the Downloads and you'll see this is the certificate that you can print out if you wish and keep in your CE portfolio. Okay, so I think we've gone through just about everything with respect to the PET navigation. If you have any other questions once you begin, feel free to contact the Quality Assurance Department. Thank you very much, and have a good day.